Oh my gosh, guys, episode 6 of the Amazing Digital Circus was one of the most tear-jerking, heart-wrenching. There's just so much words to describe it. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell you this one time. I never expected a show like the Amazing Digital Circus to make me feel the emotions that I felt ever. And it all comes down to the mix of how they acted with the guns, the action scenes that happen with the guns, but the emotional aspect of the character interactions, but especially the character interaction between Jax and Pomni, because there's some major implications for Jax's character moving forward. First of all, the gun aspect, that was just pure action, and I think that they handled it really well, similar to episode 5's little intermission sequence. I think that the thing that they did with Pomni twirling the gun, they always seem to have a scene like that in the show, and I think that that is pretty awesome. And there's so much other parts with the guns, like Gangle going ballistic with the Tommy gun. Oh my gosh, pure joy on her face. And even the closet scene, per se, with Kinga. That was kind of fun to watch, how it goes like in and out. And there were also some very comedic moments as well, like the Daisy song, I think it is, where they're singing it outside of Zubal's room, for instance. But when we get to the point towards the end of the episode, the confrontation between Jax and Pomni, I do not think I've ever felt anything like what I felt in this episode. And before we go into that, I do want to also give a huge shout out to how they handled pairing up everybody. Like, some kind of person who needs support is getting the support from another character. It's always cool to see Gangle be supported by Zubal, and I really do think that Kinga in his dark environment really does help where Ragatha is struggling, because we could tell right now, as the series progressed, we never expected Ragatha to be this much of a struggling character. It was always expected with Gangle, never with Ragatha, up until episode 4 or 5, somewhere around there. But guys, oh my gosh, the biggest one that I want to talk about in this video has to do with Jax and Pomni. And I feel like as though, honestly, this episode shows how far the series has come from the beginning. And it's especially clear with Jax, because Jax, you know, he's just kind of like this jerkish character. He's somebody who likes to harass everybody. Technically, he would be like our favorite character for causing all the trouble. But, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Jax and Pomni team up and the fun that they had, I genuinely thought that it was going to end in more of a friendship thing where Jax lightens up and all that. I never expected them to have like this budding thing go on with each other, only for Jax to essentially not only push Pomni away, but also come out in the way that he does. You know, and the conversation that they end up having. Right now, I'm trying to think of other shows. I know that there's at least one other show that has done this. Interaction between two characters, and then there's a character betrayal. This is the one that hits the most. And honestly, I think that since the beginning of the series, Gooseworks and the team have been doing a great job giving us more and more backgrounds to the characters, especially starting around, I think, with Kinga. I would say it starts with Kinga in episode 3. And then episode 4, technically for Gangle. We also get Zubal in episode 3, but honestly, we get her more in episode 5 as well. And especially when Ragatha opens up. And now we get Jax, but Jax feels like as though he's the most open in this. And that's some major implication. But honestly, I think that Michael Kovac and Lizzie Freeman, their interaction, their chemistry in that scene, really hits the nail on the head for me. And there's so much reason why I enjoy it. First of all, I feel like as though we as the audience were also carried along on that trip. We felt like as though we were feeling the feelings that Pomni was feeling, and we expected something good up until the moment where Jax basically betrays her. But the other thing is that you could see even in the last moments that Jax as well, he's suffering on the inside. And you've seen that as much as the end of the second episode. You remember the end of the second episode where Kaufman's funeral is there, Jax is watching from a distance, and he like just, and then moves on. That's what we saw with this. And honestly, another really cool thing is that we see little bits and pieces of these characters. It's like blink and you'll miss it moments, but they're vital blink and you'll miss it moments. You could see that Jax is hurting, honestly. And this feels like as though it's a real life psychological mask that does exist. I'm not gonna lie, the show feels like as though it plays on psychology to a T, and I love it. But honestly, I think the big thing is just how they handled that. And on top of that, let's move on to this for a moment. Kane. I know he only showed up in the episode for like 5, maybe 7 minutes, not too long. But the reactions that he's having, you could tell that he's collapsing. Oh my gosh. If not at the beginning of the episode, then... And if you didn't watch past the end of this thing, this is the first episode with a post-credit scene. Kane got no votes. You could see how that affected him. Kane is somebody yearning for attention. And, you know... This show is taking the psychological aspects of its characters and playing them bit for bit, T to T. And we're seeing how everything about every character unravels. For as much as we get some of the awesome action scenes that build up a lot of the episodes, and trust me, the gunfights was definitely awesome. It was extremely cool to see that, especially with Kinga and Gangle, among other people. Oh, and Zubul too. I feel like Zoragatha got the short end of the stick for that, but with good reason, for good rising reason. It felt good to see these emotional moments where they're being told something positive, where they're being told something that could uplift them at the end of the day. But it was especially important for Jax. And let me tell you something, it's also cool to see how Ragatha goes on in the next few episodes, hearing all of this, because Ragatha needs that encouragement. I feel like as though she's someone who, honestly, she may be hurting, but all of them are hurting in different ways. And we're actually seeing how some of them deal with it. I didn't think about it until just now. We're actually seeing how some of these characters deal with their pains. Ragatha, we saw in episode 5, had a sort of rough upbringing. Jax is suffering from grief, and Gangle is suffering from abuse. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about any of this. There are some weird implications, man. I did not think about it until just now. And then Kane's yearning for attention, what does that mean as well? Honestly, first of all, to see how the series went from episode 1 to episode 6, it is incredible. It is beyond incredible. We see Pomni come out as this like hopeless new jester, new to the circus, and by episode 6, she's showing more signs of joy, you know? She's showing more signs of happiness after interacting with some of the people, like Kinga and heck, even Ragatha. And at this point, you could have said the same thing about Jax until the end. But we also see how these other characters play out. We see why Zubul is hurting from time to time. We see how Gangle feels, and especially in the more recent episodes, we've been seeing how Ragatha has been breaking down. Ever since the Stupid Horse episode, ever since the Spudsies episode, I don't think we've seen Ragatha in that much of an emotional state. You know, we're actually seeing moments where she beats herself up and stuff like that. It might make Kinga seem like the most sane one in the circus. Ironic, since what Jax said in episode 1.
Well, Kinga over there's supposedly been here the longest. That's why he's crazy.
So what does that leave for the future of the series? Honestly, the last 3 episodes are upon us. First of all, I'm going to say this up front. I'm so glad that the series is only 1 season now. Not because I hate it, but because I feel like as though with something that carries so much emotional weight, if it went on for more than 1 season, you'd be stretching it out. And that's how good shows get ruined. There's 2 ways to ruin a good show. One, either cancel it too soon, or end it too late. I think Glitch is doing the correct thing. I meant to say Gooseworks, but... But the last 3 episodes, if I remember correctly, they are supposed to be the heaviest episodes. And I'm so looking forward to seeing how these play out as the heaviest episodes. We're beginning to see the beginning of the end. And everybody's getting the character development that we need to see for them to come down to the end of it. In my honest opinion, I feel like as though somebody is supposed to abstract, but then the gang comes and realizes that something is wrong. I feel like as though it's going to be Pomni who's going to encourage the gang to actually like Jax and feel sorry for him. I feel like as though Kane is on the verge of a meltdown and the gang has to help him, and it's because of these things that build up now that we will see something. Honestly, this is something I didn't think about until just now as well. Break up the series into 3 separate parts. Think about it for a sec like that. Break up the series into 3 separate parts. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, Pomni's arrival. By the end of episode 3, Pomni is doing better because of Kinga. Episodes 4, 5, and 6, we get into some of the more broken characters. We get into Gangle and Jax and Ragatha, and we're getting into their stuff. And by the last 3 episodes, everything is gonna be fixed. That's just my head theory. Feel free to comment down below what you guys think is gonna happen. I would love to hear your thoughts. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I've loved doing commentary videos as well. They're just so hard to put together. And I do hope that you guys subscribe and give me the support. Don't worry, we got a few #vlog episodes coming up. And at the same time, I just hope that you guys enjoy what I'm doing. Feel free to subscribe if I am, because I love doing this and I have more videos coming out soon. Until then, there should be some videos somewhere on the screen that you can go and check out next. One of them might be a vlog, one of them might be a discussion. Who knows? See y'all in the next one.